Yo, what's up with y'all, man? I hope you're doing good. If you're new and you're a fan of the NBA, subscribe to this channel. So let's get straight into it.
Money longer, shout out bro Uzi. Keep my eyes in the sky, cause that's where I'm moving. Say they wanna read my mind.
The NBA season is approaching us, and right before we get ready to gear up for basketball this year, this finally happens. Jimmy Butler and the Minnesota Bulls will not be associated with each other this year because Jimmy requested a trade just a couple days ago, and he specifically stated that he's only willing to re-sign with 3 teams if he gets traded. Those 3 teams are the Nets, the Knicks, and the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clips have the edge over all of them. Now, if Jimmy does end up getting traded to one of those teams, and if they come to your town and you want to go watch the game in person, or watch any NBA game for a matter of fact in person, before you buy your tickets, make sure you check out SeatGeek first. Now, unless you live in some cave in Alaska or something like that, I'm pretty sure you've heard about this company. They've been extremely popular for a reason. SeatGeek is an app that takes out the hassle and confusion from ticket buying. They have a 0 to 10 scale on each seat, so you can know if you're getting a good or bad deal, green being good and red being bad. So if you plan to go watch any NBA game this year, make sure you use my code MOJO99 for $20 off of your first purchase. Shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. I'll leave links in the description and comments so you guys can go ahead and go crazy. Alright, now back on topic. So as I was saying, we all heard about the Jimmy Butler news. He already told the world that he wanted to go to 3 specific teams. But you know, Jimmy doesn't have any control to where he goes. So that means the most random team can come up out of nowhere and offer the Wolves a solid deal and just make the trade happen. The Wolves could care less where Jimmy Butler wants to go. They're just worried about how good the pieces they get back will be now and going into the future. Now, still with that being said, some of the teams that Jimmy mentioned could offer something more attractive if they really wanted to get Jimmy Butler compared to the rest of the teams in the league, since Jimmy is willing to re-sign with them. So let's see what type of deals I have in place that works for everyone and go into what this could potentially mean going into the future. The Clippers, Nets, and Knicks all have 2 things in common. For one, they aren't legit playoff teams, and they're one of the very few teams in the NBA who have the ability to sign 2 max contract worthy stars. Jimmy just didn't put all these dudes on the list for no reason. Jimmy, dude, like, who wants to go to the Nets? There's something that we don't know about that's going on. Let's be real. There's something going on that we don't know about. A couple of months ago, y'all, I posted this video basically telling you guys that something huge was gonna happen with the Clippers within these next 2 years. It looks like their time to strike and begin their ultimate plan starts now, with Jimmy Butler as the first piece. So what could the Clippers offer to the Wolves? I think I have a pretty fair trade proposal in place. Let's say that the Clips offer Tobias Harris, the 13th pick in the NBA draft, Jerome Robinson, just for Butler alone. I think this is a great trade for both sides. The Wolves can get back Tobias Harris, who has been consistently one of the more overlooked players in the league. And they also get to take home the 13th overall pick, Jerome Robinson. Who knows what he could turn out to be. Both of these guys, well, specifically Tobias Harris, is a much better fit in Minnesota. Over the years, Tobias has turned himself into a switchy 4 who can light it up on the offensive end. He is just what they need next to Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins on the offensive end. Now, moving on to the Clippers' point of view, they then would have just completed step 1 of their plan. Now, the Clips aren't the only team who have a plan in place. The Brooklyn Nets could have one too. Now, for the Nets in this case, I don't know if the Wolves will find their assets enticing, but nevertheless, they still could offer something worth discussing for Jimmy Butler, and that something happens to be D'Angelo Russell. I speak about D'Lo a lot on this channel, so I'm gonna just make things short about him. Things have not gone D'Lo's way at all yet. He's 22 years old, soon to be 23 later on this season. D'Lo obviously has star potential. I don't think anybody can deny that. The only thing that's been preventing him from showing us that is his health. So the Nets could offer a trade package centered around him. D'Lo still has a lot of promise. He just needs to stay healthy. If no other team in the league offer the Wolves something for Jimmy Butler, they could take a bet on D'Lo. Now, I already know what some of y'all are about to say. The Wolves don't need a PT because they already have Jeff Teague. Bro, come on. Let's be real. Do you honestly think Jeff Teague is the point guard of the future for the Wolves? Hell no! Teague is my dog and all that, but he does not fit well with this group of players, play style and timeline wise. I think the Wolves making something shake with the Nets involving D'Lo could pay off in the future. So here's a random deal that I came up with. The Nets just get Jimmy Butler from the Wolves, and the Wolves get to take back D'Angelo Russell and Allen Crabbe. Don't mind Allen Crabbe, he's only there just so the trade can match up financially. So that could be the deal right there, unless the Wolves want to ask for a first rounder. But bro, the Nets might catch PTSD if that happened. You guys do remember what happened last time the Nets traded their first round pick for an older player? Yeah, so I think that deal that I mentioned earlier was fair enough. Now the last team on Jimmy's list is the Knicks. Interesting enough, they might be the least likely to make a move because just a few days ago their team president basically said that they aren't willing to trade for a player they can get on their own, meaning that they'd rather get Jimmy Butler in the offseason during free agency rather than sacrificing assets right now to get him, like Frank Ntilikina for instance. So to me, I don't know if the Knicks would really have to let go of Frank. Here's a package that I got in place. The Knicks can offer Tim Hardaway Jr., Emmanuel Mudiay, and a first rounder. Okay, not gonna lie, after hearing that trade proposal come out of my mouth, that whole trade proposal sounds worse now. So scratch out Emmanuel Mudiay. Nobody wants him. I think it just depends on whether or not the Knicks want to give up on Frank Ntilikina now or not. A legit trade package would include Tim Hardaway Jr., Frank Ntilikina for Jimmy Butler. Now personally, if you ask me, I think the Knicks should do that. By just bringing in Butler, a move like this could lead them to creating one of the best lineups and teams in the NBA. So y'all, these three packages that I told you guys about could end up turning into reality. As I said towards the beginning of the video, Jimmy Butler has a plan. He only listed teams that matches his criteria. So if he goes to one of these three teams, the same thing could happen either for the Nets, Knicks, and Clippers. They could end up signing Kyrie Irving. It's been like a year now since Kyrie has been traded from the Cavs. If some of you remember, the Knicks were one of the teams that Kyrie wanted to get traded to originally. So that's one dot connected. Check out the other.
That said, if you had to pick one name in the NBA and say, I'd like to play with that guy, or like him to come and play with me, who would it be?
One guy?
Yep.
I'd probably have to go with my favorite player who's not myself, and that's Kyrie. I love Kyrie's game, man. And he's a really good dude.
He's really trying to play with Kyrie next year on one of the teams he's listed. Clips, Nets, and Knicks all have the ability to not only hand out one, but two max contracts. Jimmy Butler is trying to make some moves happen now so he could lure Kyrie onto the team that he gets traded to. This plan sounds pretty legit, but the only problem that I have is with Kyrie leaving. He's currently on one of the greatest organizations in sports history, and the C's currently have something beautiful going on. They are a serious threat to win the NBA championship right now, and they could dethrone the Warriors this year. Does Kyrie Irving really want to leave that? You know how many other stars in the league would kill to be in his situation? He's got a genius GM, a brilliant head coach, two young studs that will turn into stars going into the future, a great bench, and two good all-stars. He has all this going for him with the Celtics right now. Damian Lillard, Anthony Davis, Giannis Antetokounmpo, LeBron James, and a bunch of the other stars in the NBA would literally kill to be in his position. Would Kyrie seriously leave that to go join his buddy Jimmy Butler? I don't know, man. Kyrie is a weird dude. This is the same man who said the earth is flat. He got problems. So I wouldn't be surprised if he decided to leave. If he does end up leaving, then it would obviously be for one of the teams Jimmy Butler goes to. Listen up though, guys. That's only half of Jimmy Butler's plan. Everyone knows that Kyrie is gonna have an extra tough decision to make next summer. And I don't think it's a guarantee that he leaves the Celtics. So there has to be another player a part of this plan. Nobody said that they just want to go to the Clippers, Nets, or Knicks alone. Do you understand how risky that is? So there's somebody else besides Kyrie that Jimmy probably wants to team up with. So Jimmy has a backup plan or a second option, and the second option is Kawhi Leonard. The Lakers and Clippers, more so the Clippers, has been on Kawhi's radar since forever, it feels like. So hearing this news that all of a sudden Jimmy Butler wants to go to the Clippers the most out of every other team in the league, it sounds pretty suspect. So Jimmy wants to get traded to the Clippers, Nets, or Knicks and have one of his buddies, Kawhi or Kyrie, join him. This is Jimmy Butler's ultimate plan. I'm not too sure if it actually could all fall into place though, because this is life and things don't go as planned at all sometimes. So for all I know, you guys, the most random team could come out of nowhere and scoop up Jimmy from the T-Wolves, and maybe he ends up actually liking wherever he goes. He could pull up Paul George and throw his plans completely out of the window and say screw Kyrie, screw the Nets, screw the Knicks, screw everybody, and remain with the random team that trades for him. That's life. In fact, I do have a couple of teams who could surprise us all and make an unexpected move for Jimmy Butler. One of the teams that could shock us are the Portland Trail Blazers. The Blazers this offseason haven't gotten better at all. If anything, in my opinion, I think they regress because of the key bench players that they lost. How good can the Blazers actually be this year? It makes you think, man. It makes you think, because just about every other team in the West got better except for the Blazers. They got a little bit worse. So they need to make some type type of move in order to get better. But in order to do that, they gotta separate their current backcourt of CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard. Here is the trade. The Wolves get CJ and a pick and maybe a second rounder, and the Blazers just get Jimmy Butler, someone who actually aids Damian Lillard's weaknesses. That's one of the random trades that could end up happening. Another crazy thought involves the Washington Wizards. They could offer up Otto, overpaid Porter, and a first-round pick maybe for Jimmy Butler. You know, it's just random trades like that that the Wolves can easily accept. So if something like that does end up happening, it really interferes with Jimmy's plan. He's over here trying to get traded to a team with cap space so himself and one of his superstar buddies can get paid and create a new duo in the NBA. But like I said, this all could easily be prevented if some random team ends up trading for Jimmy Butler, and if he ends up liking that random team that he gets traded to. So this is towards the end of the video. What team do you think is most likely to trade for Jimmy Butler out of the Clippers, Nets, and Knicks? If you don't think one of those teams will trade for him, who the hell will? The Raptors? Let me know what you think in the comments. So this is the end of the video, man. I appreciate you for every second that you spent watching this masterpiece. Again, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and I'll get right with you.
No way, remember back when I couldn't get a play, no home, I ain't have a place to stay, I got to work, made it certain.